Maxwell House Coffee presents Good News of 1939. Once more, the makers of Maxwell House Coffee present 60 minutes of entertainment from the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer studios in Hollywood, with Fanny, Brice, and Hanley, Stafford, Frank Morgan, Douglas McPhail, Betty Jaynes, Ruth, Hussey, Meredith, Willson and his orchestra. And here's our host for the evening, Robert Young.
Thank you, Ted. I'd like to remind you our guest of honor is Frank Morgan's illustrious brother, Ralph Morgan. We also hope to confound Frank before the evening's over. Meredith Willson starts us off with Love is Sweeping the Country. That your arrangement was very lovely?
Pray do.
Very pretty indeed, if I'm not being too flattering.
Pray be.
Okay, Meredith. Ladies and gentlemen, we continue
with Bob.
Hello, Ralph Morgan. Well, Ralph, it's certainly a pleasure to have you here, and I see you're right on time, too.
Well, I'm afraid I can't take credit for that, Bob. Because, as a matter of fact, I'm not precisely on time. I was to have been here punctually at 6 o'clock, and it's now 3 minutes past the hour, if my watch is correct. I had it checked at my jeweler last week, so I suppose it's keeping fairly good time.
Yes, well, that really doesn't matter
very
much.
The reason I was detained, Bob, was that I was coming down on the bus. I only take the number 4 bus, the red one, you know? I'm acquainted with most of the conductors.
Yes, well, I was thinking
but
that
today there happened to be a new man driving, and I wanted to be sure that I'd get off at my corner, so I rang the signal bell 2 full blocks before my destination. And the only trouble was that in my hurry to get off, I didn't realize until the bus was pulling away that I'd left my umbrella under my seat.
Oh, well, that's too bad, Ralph.
Well,
I
did try to attract, Bob. I did. I tried to attract the driver's attention, but in the press of traffic, he didn't notice me. I couldn't run after it because the lights were against me. And, Bob, I do try to be a good citizen about obeying the local ordinances.
Oh, sure. Well,
you
now
can't
we go on
be too
with
careful in a city of this size. You can't. I remember once when I was in Chicago, I was trying to cross Michigan Boulevard, and Bob, I had a very interesting experience.
And, Ralph, I want you to tell me about it sometime. But right now, I want you to meet the other people on the program. This is Meredith Willson, Ralph Morgan.
Oh, Mr. Willson.
Mr. Morgan, how are you, sir?
Well, I'm feeling fairly fit in general. I stopped in to see my doctor.
Yes?
Yes, I generally go in for a checking over once a month, you know.
Well, that's fine. Now,
Dr.
we'll
Jackson
continue
was quite encouraging today. Says my blood pressure is going down and it's normal now. And, of course, I've had the protein diet for some time.
Oh.
Yes, and no red meats either, and very little sweets. Yes, and one cigar a day.
Oh,
Quite a difficult regimen at first, but I've got used to it. In fact,
Ralph.
I could go...
Ralph, I'm awfully sorry, but
Yes, Bob.
we're trying to put on a program here.
Excuse me, Bob. Mr. Morgan, did you ever try the 10-day diet?
I guess I'll have time for a smoke on that one.
Pray do. Now, Mr. Wilson, I tried the 10-day diet in 1934, and I found it had some very interesting effects, really.
Yes?
Yes, for instance, the number of calories in the average meal.
Ralph, please, this is all very interesting, but there's one thing I've got to get straight before we go on with the program. You're Frank Morgan's brother, aren't you?
Well...
I'm telling you, not asking you.
Well, of course I'm Frank's brother. Is there anything you'd like to know about him?
Well, just this. Now, you, Ralph, seem a very careful person. Why do you suppose your brother Frank tells such big lies?
Well, what makes you think Frank is inclined to draw the long bow?
Listen, Ralph, every Thursday he comes here and makes up such tremendous lies that people are complaining.
Well, that's strange. I never heard about
Well,
it.
for instance, a couple of weeks ago, he claimed he'd been a surgeon for 30 years. What about that?
Well...
Now, please, Ralph, give me a plain yes or no. I'll try to hold it to about 2,000 words.
I'm a man of very few words, Bob. I'll answer your question quite briefly. I don't know.
You don't know whether your own brother spent 30 years of his life as a surgeon?
Well...
You mean you can't be sure?
Exactly. You see, I haven't been in constant contact with Frank.
Oh, sure. He might have done it while you weren't looking. All right, let's admit Frank was a surgeon for 30 years. Now, did you ever hear that he was director of the Russian ballet for 25 years?
Was he?
Was he?
Well, Bob, I hesitated to say it's untrue because I'd hate to hang a man on circumstantial evidence.
Well, I'll prove it to you. You name just one period in his career where you know what he was doing.
Well, from 1923 to 1927, I shared a penthouse with him in New York.
And you were with him constantly?
Every day, every night.
1923, 1927. That's all I need to know. Now, listen, Ralph, you go disguise yourself as an Oriental potentate or something. And when Frank comes out here, I'll tip you off. Is that clear?
Well, Bob, I could put on a beard and turban.
Yeah,
but that
well-
might not be as good as a burnoose and a
No.
fez. On the other hand, to capture the true Oriental spirit,
Well,
possibly
Ralph, it really doesn't matter what you wear. I'll start lying and you listen. He'll get him lying. Go on. I'll see you later.
You
Go
know,
get
Bob,
ready.
I think if I wore a long beard with a short
Yeah, that's
sash...
fine. That's
maybe
good.
a long sash with a long beard.
That'll
don't know.
be fine.
Well, I'll think it over very fast.